If you see me grimace while I'm up here, I'm not emoting. I actually kinked up my neck earlier today, so but I'll be looking down, maybe kind of dramatically. Maybe it'll help my storytelling. All right. So I'm not a very confident man. It's okay, though. It's part of my charm. But it may be that lack of confidence was the reason why my first kiss did not happen till last year, actually. You might say I'm a late bloomer. But every time I tell this story, I feel like a twinge of something in my diaphragm, maybe shame, embarrassment. It's like, dude, you're 23 years old. But if I had to change it, if I could have made it happen faster, no, I wouldn't have, because this is my story, and I have to live my own timeline. And if I would have made it happen any faster, no, I wouldn't have, because it was beautiful. Like I said, this is my story, and I'm happy that in my 23rd summer, it was her lips that mine first touched. Now, maybe you're asking, Pablo, how did this happen? Where did you meet her? I thought you never asked. At the time, I was working as a cashier, and that was sort of my summer job. And I was like the cliche of the waiter on Broadway who's really an actor, while I was a cashier who was really a writer. And that's what I did sometimes, because there was just not a lot to do. You just wait for customers to come, and sometimes there are just hours when there are no customers. So I stand around, write mournful poetry about how lonely I am. Oh, who is she who will revive my soils? I am dry into dying, sad into crying. Guess she's not here yet. So I dust, I sweep, but you can only do that so much because, you just have this little area and there's not much to clean. So you stand there, you talk to the cashier next to you, and wait for customers. So as it happened, one customer did come by, and she says, "You have really nice hair." I say, "Thank you." Now, this was not a regular customer. This was a girl, and it's a girl about my age, too, and a very pretty girl. And I compliment her, too. I said, "Oh, you have very nice hair, too." And she really did, black and curly and bound by a white frilly thing across her forehead. And she starts hitting on me kind of hard, and I think most guys would have picked that up right away, but like I said, I'm not a very confident man, so it took me a while. But after a while, I realized she likes me. But then the customers came, and so I hold on. So I have to run back, and boop, 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 damn customers. And so, anyways, I was worrying. Oh man, I'm like, have I lost her forever? Is she in the aisles, never to be seen again? But I finished with my last customer, and I walked back out there, and she walks back up to me, and we're talking again a little more, and I'm thinking, like, I should probably ask for her number or something. But then more customers come back, so I go, and here's your receipt, thank you. So I run back out there, and I'm thinking, okay, I got to get her number, and she walks up to me, and she has a little rip of white paper in her hand. She says, "I hope I'm not being too audacious." And I said, "Well, I was going to ask anyways." And she gives me her number, and I mean, the rest of the day just went by so fast. And I walk out of the store, and it's sort of in the cool of the evening, and the old, very unconfident Pablo would have looked at that and said, "Oh, I'll call her tomorrow, maybe." But I knew that tomorrow was going to turn into never, so I called her right there in front of the parking lot. And we talk a little bit, and she says, we go over the basics, names, all that, and she mentions that her name means the grace of God. And I tell her my name, Pablo Sebastián, means small and revered, and, we talk a little bit. And she asked me, "So, what's your favorite color?" And I say, "Green, like the springtime." And I felt like that was sort of a springtime in my life where this late bloomer was finally going to blossom. And so I was just feeling so good. And I went home that night and I was fixing dinner, listening to some music, and just letting myself be happy because so often in the past I would just be thinking, when something good happens, when's the other shoe going to drop? When is my comedy going to turn into a tragedy? I was always waiting for that twist in the plot. And that night, that didn't happen. I was just listening to some music, being happy, and just singing, "Oh, I don't, and I don't, and I don't, and I don't. No, I don't, it's true. No, I don't, no, I don't, no, I don't, no, I don't want anybody else but you." And I just let myself sing and be happy for once. Whatever, tomorrow may bring, that night I was happy, and I just let myself enjoy it. So, let's see, what happened there? So, anyways, we were talking, and we decided, hey, we should meet sometime. And so we set a date. I'm going to go meet her parents, and it was late in the afternoon that day. I had to work first. And once I got out to the parking lot, I found my bike, because at the time I didn't have a car. I was riding my bicycle everywhere, which I really liked. But so I get out there and I start the long glide down the hill, and it was summertime too, and like I was shirtless, and even though I was normally not a confident man, when I'm on my bicycle, I'm a badass. And so I was riding shirtless and just feeling so good and just reveling in the glory of youth, And this afternoon sunlight was coming over the mountains, and it was warm, and I was young. Well, I still am young, but you know what I mean. And so I'm riding, hands-free and just reveling in the glory of youth. And whenever moments like that happen, like this old man inside of me starts thinking, or whispering in my ear, all glory is fleeting, all glory is fleeting. But all the more reason to enjoy it now. So I'm riding, make it to her house. I put on a shirt, of course, and a tie and a vest. And I ring the doorbell, or I knock on the door, and she answers, and she's just looking cute as a button, like this red skirt, white blouse, and a red bandana or something. She just came home from choir practice, just cute as a button. Anyways, so we talk for a while. She leads me out to her backyard, and we're sitting in the grass talking, and beginning this not awkward dance, but this tense dance where we're like sitting like this, coming a little closer, and I can feel the tension building towards the kiss, and like we kind of start to lean in and say, I never kissed a girl before. And she leans back, she's like, "Oh, we don't have to kiss on the first date," and she was totally sweet about it. So we just start talking again, and but this dance, this swirl starts again. And, I look at her and say, "You want to try?" And we lean in, and I couldn't have asked for more ideal circumstances. Like I said, it was summer afternoon, sunshine coming over the mountains, licking the tops of the trees and the breeze, and there were flowers seriously all around. Like she had a garden in her backyard, and there were just blossoms everywhere, blossoms, 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 blossoms. And that was worth waiting for. That was worth waiting for, because at 16, 18, or whatever else it might have happened, I wouldn't have been able to create a monument of words and celebrate in the way that I am now. But that's not the end of the story. It continues, because now I'm 24, and there was a lot in between. So I mentioned I have this old man inside of me. I also have, a neurotic 16-year-old, and that guy came out afterwards, and you'd think I'd be exultant, like, oh, my first kiss, but no, immediately after I left her house, I just started thinking about the implications, like, oh, what does this mean? Like, are we a couple now? And like, does she think I really, really like her? And if I don't really, really like her, and she thinks I do, is like, she gonna be mad when the disparity is revealed? Because there's nothing scarier to me than female anger. And so that was just weighing on my mind, and boy, that just became, that went from the best day to like the worst day as I spiraled deeper and deeper into my worries. And that's what the next few weeks were like, which is up, down, and every time I talked to her, like I wanted to just enjoy this, but But that old Pablo came back, and I would just feel like I would have to perform or something, like on a stage, except I feel much more comfortable here. And then I did talking to her, and it just, oh man, this is not working. So this culminated one day when I was back at my job. Like I said, there was a lot of empty time, and I spent that worrying, thinking about the implications of that kiss, and thinking about the implications of my reactions to the kiss. And I had hours and hours to think about this. And it came that one day I had an 8-hour shift scheduled, and I just couldn't imagine going through the whole day standing there worrying. And so my first break, I asked my manager, hey, Marcia, do you think I could go home at lunch? Because I don't think I can make it the whole day. And she kind of knew, the story, and so she's like, oh, okay, Pablo, yeah, sure, you can do that. And so I was relieved. I went to the bathroom, and not to be crude, but you had to pee. So I had to push a little bit to get the flow going. And I think that push sort of got the tears going too, because I was very distraught. And so then I was peeing and crying at the same time. And it occurred to me that I'd never done that before, and I thought that was kind of funny, so I started laughing too. And so I was laughing and peeing and crying all at the same time, and I was just a wet, shaking mess. God. And I had to leave right then. I try to clean myself off as best as I can. By the way, you'd want me to cry in a soap opera or something, because I'm a very good crier. But I walk back to my manager, and I say, Marcia, do you think I could go home now? Because I don't think I can. And she's like, yeah, you can go home, Pablo. So I go back to the bathroom, I clean myself off, and I leave, ride my bike, and head home. And it was getting to the point where, like, I could not even, this was affecting my job. And it's like, okay, this can't go on. And so I eventually just called her and say, and it would seem apropos of nothing to her, I'm sure. It's like, I just can't do this anymore. It's like, oh, okay, have a nice life. And, sorry. Anyways, it was shortly after that I went to Texas, which is where I go every winter to spend the holidays with my family, and I work another job there, retail, where I have lots of hours to think and worry. Now, fortunately, I discovered something else in Texas, poetry, which helped me both to mourn and recover. And my father introduced me to this one poem that his father would recite to him sometimes, and it's a very mournful poem. It's Juventud, divino tesoro, ya te vas para no volver. Cuando quiero llorar, no lloro, y a veces lloro sin querer. And it goes, youth, divine treasure, now you go to never come again. I'm like, yes, that's me. Oh, my youth, this one chance I had, and it's never going to happen again. And the second part, sometimes when I want to cry, I can't, and other times I cry without wanting. And gosh, that was me. Fortunately, I didn't cry at work that time, but I did a lot of crying there. But in these empty hours I had working at that retail job, I started to think about her name, the grace of God. And so much of part of my worry about her, the worry she provoked, revealed a lack of grace in my life. Like, if I make one mistake, that's over. If we're a little bit different in this way, it's over. There's no room for error, no room for adjustment, no room for grace. And I was thinking about that, and this store's busy season, unlike my other, was the winter, the holidays. And one day I was up on the ladder, stocking some Christmas ornaments or something, and I was thinking, sometimes virtue is unseen, and I know grace is a space between. And I was looking down to the aisle below, and it was just crowded with shoppers because, it was Christmas. And so I was looking for a place for my feet, but there didn't seem to be any space. And but to my surprise, two women touching carts pushed them slightly apart, and there was space enough for three, and there was grace enough for me. And I'm thinking, yeah, grace, this is what I need, These worries, they don't make sense when you're living in a in a world where there's room for error, there's forgiveness, there's love, there's just acceptance. And grace just became my mantra. And I thought, if I wasn't ready then, grace lets me try again. And if there was a space between this and that, between my worries and the truth, between wisdom and youth, between the place I should be far off and the space between, that's the space that grace will fill. And I am dancing still. Thank you.